goddess of knowledge, Ma Saraswati, Professor Vishesh Gupta ji, the learned sociologist who is presiding this discourse, my deep respect to Dr. Avnish Singh Chauhan, a learned scholar, poet, critic and editor who has come from SRM University, Sonipat. Respected Dr. Madhubala Saxena ji, our HOD, our guest Muzammil sir from Muslim College, and thanks to him because he translated this poem 2 Minute Silence into Urdu. I'm really thankful to you, sir. I know it's very difficult task just to go into the soul of the poet and to compose that poem or to translate that poem. It is really very difficult task. And you have done well. Thank you. Our faculty members, all of them are intellectual and always participate in any program. Our media person and dear students, we are here to have a discourse on this poem 2 Minute Silence by C.L. Khatri. Often we take the term 2 minute silence in a negative way. Generally we consider, okay, someone is no more, so we have to keep 2 minutes silence. So why has the poet given the title 2 minute silence? Generally, we observe 2 minutes silence to pay our homage to the departed soul. And during those 2 minutes, we praying, we keep our focus to that person, and during that period of 2 minutes, we recall the virtues, the good points of that person, and we appreciate for that person for those virtues or good points. The poet has given this title. Today, in the era of globalization, we are running after money. Money has. Do we have this peace? We are quite happy, we are quite comfortable from outside. But if we peep into ourselves, we find that we are quite empty, hollow persons. What we see here, we find the loss of center. Earlier there was the one center. If we take our home, the head of the family was the center. And that head motivated all the people and was successful in binding all the members of the family into one. The parliament was the center. What has gone about this center now? Due to selfish motive or selfishness, everyone has become center. And now the concept of center has given birth to many centers, and every person, everything considers itself, himself or herself as center. So certainly there will be clash. So what has happened? There is no center at all. This poem is inspired by W.B. Yeats' Second Coming, where W.B. Yeats says, things fall apart, the center cannot hold, mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. So what we see here, we see the reversal syndrome. This is the new term that has come into the force. Reversal syndrome means all the things that were on the center earlier now have come to the periphery. But the root cause is only self-interest. Earlier, nature was at the center. But what has happened today? Man has become at the center and he has displaced nature to the periphery. This same man who considers himself at the center but himself comes to the periphery and gives machines to come to the center. Just see, earlier river was at the center and cities were at the periphery. Today we see that cities have come to the center and rivers have become to the periphery. Earlier the people of the city were afraid of the river. Today the river itself fears because of the pollution that the man is doing. And we find, yes, we were quite free. We had the personal space. Today we don't have that personal space and we have given this personal space to corporate space. The corporate space has dominated the personal space. So this is the reversal syndrome that has come into the force. The poet has talked about the death. First of all, he talks about the poetic death of mother and father. There was a time when children respected their parents, and today parents are afraid of their children. They have a kind of fear. If we say something wrong to our children, what will happen? This is the syndrome. Death of deference has given to death of difference. Deference, respect. Death of respect has come into the force. Death of physical labor. We don't want to do anything with our own hands or with our legs. We just take the help of the machines. So this is the death of physical labor. So how far is it proper to sacrifice our cultural values at the altar of modernity in the name of progress? We have to find out this very aspect. Today, man has become robots, has become machines, while a man is a man who is expected to spread peace and cultural values and happiness everywhere. Yes, I remember there was a time when people used to get up early in the morning and go to their field, work with their hands, work with their legs. But this physical labor has come to an end because of the machines. It has worsened our health And man is simply a machine set according to a set program. Earlier there were oxen, there were police, but now they are no more now. Their place have been taken by the wheels, by the vehicles. If we want to go even to a short distance, we don't like to go on foot. We take the help of a scooty or any vehicle to go there. What has happened? Our legs have become lame. Our hands have become chopped. So this is the death of bodily labor, of physical labor. So we have become poor spiritually, though we are rich materialistically, no doubt. But it does not mean that the poet wishes that we should again go to the primitive days and should take the help of oxen and police, etc. No. He asks us to observe 2 minutes silence to trace out the virtues or the good aspects of the bodily labor or the physical labor. Today we are taking the help of gym, but every person is not so rich to go to the gym. So we have to consider, again, we have to work with our hands and our legs, and we have to understand the value of physical labor. If we see this poem minutely, this poem raises environmental issues. The poet talks, let's observe 2 minutes silence on the shrinking space, shrinking sun, the stinking water of the sacred rivers, sleeping birds, falling leaves, watermelon being sliced for quarreling cousins. What is happening to the space? The space is shrinking. Today we see 13th floor, 18th floor. And the children in the metropolitan cities, if you find the children in the cities, they have forgotten to see the sky. They don't see the sky. Because the buildings are so high that they don't even see the space. So the space has shrunk. The space is shrinking. And these buildings have swallowed forests. So imbalance in nature. The poet talks of shrinking sun. You are well aware of this fact. Today, what has happened? There is the imbalance or disturbance in nature. When it is, the weather has changed. Even in summer, you can have winter. In winter, you can have summer. So this is the imbalance in nature. And stinking water of the sacred rivers. Let's find out. Earlier people used to be afraid of rivers. And what has happened today? Rivers are afraid of men who are polluting the rivers. The sacred rivers are being polluted by men. It's really shame for us. Sleeping birds. Yes. If we just turn to our golden days, people used to sing songs, folk songs. Where is that culture? That culture is lost, totally lost. Where are the birds? Birds do not sing. Why do they not sing? Because we have killed them. Why have we killed them? Because we are quite greedy and we have cut all the forests, all the trees. We have destroyed trees. So birds have forgotten to sing. And regarding leaves, autumn has come to the leaves. We find autumn. We don't find the greenery. If you look towards the mountains, you will find them quite naked. No greenery at all. So this has happened to nature. Nature is weeping. And this is simply of the materialistic attitude of the pupil. And find watermelon. The poet has used the word watermelon. We call it in Hindi tarboos. Watermelon is being sliced among the quarreling cousins. And watermelon is this earth. This earth is being sliced. This watermelon is unity of the nation. It is being sliced. This watermelon is love. It is being sliced. So this has happened in the present time. So the poet asks us to observe 2 minutes silence. At least 2 minutes silence will take us to the golden days from where we can learn our cultural values and we can associate ourselves to the roots, our Indian roots. And if we come to the other aspect, today we are living in the transitional phase. If we use this term in sociology, transitional phase. Yes, we are going towards the Western culture. The Western culture is attracting us, and it is quite surprising that we are following them and they are following us. They are following our yoga system. But we have forgotten that yoga system and we are following the materialistic attitude of the Western culture. So we want to, yes, okay, Western culture is not bad. So what we have to see, we have to trace out the good points of the Western culture and we have to incorporate those good points in our Eastern culture, So that will be a synthesis between the two. So what we are doing, we are neither here nor there. So what we have to do, we have to trace out the good points. The poet is not asking us to go to the primitive days. He is asking to observe 2 minutes silence to associate ourselves to the cultural values. The other thing that this poem raises, and this is internal diaspora. And what is internal diaspora? I let you know. Today, we are living in the village, we are educated, and what do? We cut off our roots from the village and come to the city. And when we come to the city, we don't want to have any connection to the village. It's a gap. Yes, we are educated, so we have no connection to the village. And diaspora does not mean that, diaspora means that those who were Indians and are now living in the foreign countries or any other land, those persons are called diaspora. But we have developed internal diaspora. Today we have no time, or we don't want to talk to our friends, we don't want to talk our wives, we don't want to talk our friends. We have developed ourselves and we have confined ourselves. We have become islands. We consider that we are island, we are complete in ourselves. While the reality is that we are not island. When we took birth, we needed 2 hands to come in this world. And when we will go to that world from where we have come, we need 4 shoulders. So we can't live alone. So man himself developed this loneliness, this isolation, simply because of this materialistic attitude. Yes, we are the pupil of standard and they don't belong to our standard, so we will have no connection with them. So this poem raises the issue of internal diaspora. You will find in this poem there are many negative terms, but actually if you minutely observe, this poem is not negative in spite of the fact that this poem has many negative words. This poem, yes, what you have to do, you have to reverse the position. You have to reverse, you have to put the head down and tail up. You will find that this poem will give you the positive effect. The poem talks of uprooted microphone. Yes, uprooted microphone. When we recall, yes, uprooted microphone. This uprooted microphone reminds of that time when people in the parliament use microphone to raise their voice in favor of the pupil and to pass the rules and regulations in favor of the pupil of the country. The poet talks about broken chair. It's a negative term. But if you minutely observe, if you dissect it, broken chair will remind you, yes, there was a time when these chairs were not broken. And these were the chairs on which the pupil used to sit for the benefits of the pupil, of the country. The poet talks about torn pages of Constitution. Yes, there was a time when pupil respected Constitution and considered it a holy book. So if you find these words, you will find the positive meaning. So death, there is one word, death of fear. Yes, death of fear reminds towards the time when children were afraid of their parents. But today, parents are afraid of their children. It's a fact. It's a fact. That parents are afraid of their children. They don't want to raise their voice. If they do something, if they raise their voice, children do another thing. They will commit suicide or will go somewhere. The poet talks about death of dhoti. Death of dhoti does not mean that the poet wishes that once again we should wear dhoti and we should have pagdi. It's a symbolical thing. It's a symbol. Death of dhoti just reminds us of ceremonial or traditional dress. Death of pagdi reminds the respect. Earlier we used to respect, yes, turban, pagdi was considered high. So Khatri comes to the positive way of thinking by following the negative way. If you come to the techniques of the poem, the whole poem is deeply rooted in ironic mode or presents the ironic vision of the poet. He has used the words like grand, glorious. He has used in ironical way. Is our culture grand? The present culture grand? Is the present culture glorious? We have to observe 2 minutes silence and to muse over all these aspects. And the poet has used the addressing mode. In the first stanza, he uses sisters and brothers. In second, he uses mothers and fathers. In third, he uses ladies and gentlemen. So if you minutely see, he has given place to sisters first, mothers first, ladies first. So he has given respect to the women. And the other thing that you observe, and in the fourth stanza, he calls friends. He becomes quite informal, and in the last, he associates himself with the readers and does not use any term because he considers that all the readers are like himself, who will observe 2 minutes silence and associate themselves to their cultural roots. The poet has used symbols. I have already told you about the symbol of watermelon, symbol of dhoti, symbol of pagdi. So somehow this poem connects us to our roots. You might have studied the poem Rabindranath Tagore. The poem of Rabindranath Tagore, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. that shows the vision of Tagore. If you minutely observe this poem also presents the vision of C.L. Khatri. What is the vision? This poem offers his vision where pupil will be of values and follow what is best in Indian culture. He sees a vision of India, an India where people are patriots, with the feeling of respect to the parliament and constitution, where people respect their elders and follow values and vows in spirit, where there is harmony among people without the clashes of generation gaps, where people do physical labor and remain healthy, where people do not pollute the environment, where people once again become the singing birds that sing folk songs, where people maintain unity and integrity among themselves, and where people do not disconnect themselves with their cultural roots, and where people follow the best things not in words only but in spirit. So this is the vision of C.L. Khatri. And I am sure if you observe 2 minutes silence and see all the points that were really glorious, that were really positive in our ancient culture, you will follow them, and once again you will connect to your cultural roots and will become a citizen of India. This poem addresses to the people of India, not to the people of the world. If you remember Tennyson, there is no land like England. So why will I like this poem? There is no land like England. Why will I say that there is no land like England? I will say there is no land like India. So this poem has its own limitation. So this poem, in this poem, the poet has addressed to the people of India to observe 2 minutes silence so that they may recall their cultural values, and while recalling these cultural values, they will connect themselves to the roots. Thank you.